This is The Hollywood Outsider, a weekly movie and TV podcast with a new episode every Thursday. This is episode 134, and this week we are discussing upcoming releases including Noah, Sabotage, and Bad Words, spoiler-free reviews of Bad Words and Need for Speed. The from the outside in topic this week is how far can a character go before we stop rooting for him? And we've also got the latest in movie and TV news, including your own trivia segments. My name is Brian Williams. I am your hijacker tonight. So lean it back in your chairs, put your tray tables down, unbuckle your pants, seatbelts, and allow me to introduce my fellow host, Justin McCumber.
What up, bruh?
Hey, Scotty Clark.
Hey, what's going on, man? Looking for a good episode.
We're going to have some fun. And your normal host who's been bound and gagged in a closet just until now, Aaron Peterson.
Hey, I feel like I'm grounded. Literally, like Mom came in and said, go to your room. You're not allowed to talk anymore. Why don't you explain why you're...
Yeah, well, it's mainly because of my awesomeness. That's really the main reason. But because of that awesomeness, I've won the Oscar picking contest. What is it, 3 years in a row now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it pretty much perfect picks every year, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so, Showboat. Yes, I believe so.
Yeah. So just spraying my arm, patting myself on the back there.
I almost had you this year. I had Despicable Me, and I should have picked Frozen. But
and who picked Frozen? That's right. That was me.
That's you. I guess I'll just let it go, Brian. That's fine.
Yeah, just let it go.
Almost don't count.
So,
I don't think you should be talking. What'd you get, like 2 right? Shh.
Hey, I don't paint myself as the Oscar, fanatic the way you fuckers do.
That's true, because that paint would be moldy.
Mm-hmm.
Does paint
All right.
mold?
It does with Justin's house. He's got black mold under the wall.
Hey, we got
that would explain a lot of the sinus issues I guess he's got.
That's the Coke.
That's the coat.
Or the foot fungus, maybe.
That's the blow.
All right, well, let's get into this mess. Justin, what on earth does Captain America, Batman, and Superman all have in common?
Why, Brian, they're both opening up on the same fucking day, May 6th, 2016.
That
Why?
is stupid.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I mean, obviously, these are two of the heavyweights of that summer. Why potentially split your profits by going head to head? One of you wait a month, wait 2 months. There's no reason at all to put these both on the same day. Now, for me, this is a fucking win. I get to see 2 of the movies I want to see on the same damn day. But for the studios, this seems like I don't know if it's a prick waving contest or exactly what the thought is, but they're going to go head to head, barring, unforeseen issues. And we'll just have to see, who makes the most money. But I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think both of these franchises are going to have a lot of people waiting to see them. So I think the worst that could happen is they just split profits.
I think,
and then both of them kind of fail.
No, it's a dong. It's dong waving. Somebody's going to move. There's no way these both open on the same day. I agree.
There's no way that's going to happen. And if it did by chance, I can't see Captain America coming anywhere near Batman and Superman.
Hell no. Just look, I love Captain America, and I think it's going to do great business. But you ain't Robert Downey Jr., sir. You're just not. It's not going to do the same kind of business. I'm glad they have that kind of confidence in him. Do you
think that this could be like one of the first times, I don't know if it's ever happened, I haven't done enough research on it, but this could be like the first time where maybe 2 movies open with 50 million plus weekends?
Oh, no, that's happened before. It's just, what it's going to be is if that were
75,
to... No,
75 million?
I don't know if any 2 have opened at 75 million in the same weekend, but 50's happened.
Bob, I'm going 100.
$1, Bob.
What... But it would split it because this is unlike a lot of movies where they open at the same time. A lot of them they might share an audience, or some people that want to see one movie might want to see the other one. These are the exact same people, for the most part, the exact same audience. You just don't. It's dumb. It's not even close to smart business.
Well, it's DC versus Marvel. You got a little bit of a
I think
split
it's
audience.
Marvel sticking their middle finger up at them because they're the one that jumped on that date. They're like, hey, that's Well,
and I think someone on the Facebook page mentioned that not we're the type of people that will see both in a single weekend. A lot of people, even if they're huge fans of these movies, are only going to go to one or the other. They're not going to go to both.
I think it's a complete middle finger because Marvel has had the first weekend of May for the last 5 or 6 or 7 years, whatever it is, and they're pissed that DC got in there and took it, and they're seeing if they'll wave.
Is that holiday? Is that like Memorial Day or something?
It's like the opening of summer season.
No, I know, but I'm just asking. I don't even know when Memorial Day normally is.
That's the end of May.
It's the end of May? What's the one at the
Aren't you a
beginning?
teacher? Don't they give you like a calendar or something?
Aren't y'all off like all the time?
If it's in the
Yeah, right.
if it's in the summer, it's just all lumped right in there. So it's just it doesn't really matter.
Wow. Wow.
So basically, they're telling DC that we were in this spot first, so get out.
That's what it seems like, yeah.
Trying to push them out of line. All right.
Does that seem pretty
Well,
quick for a Captain America movie, by the way?
No, 2 years.
2 years?
It's about 2 years.
I don't know.
I mean,
they're
these
not,
are machines now. I mean, they've got the production of these movies down to a science.
Pretty much. So, just as a reminder, our South by Southwest special podcast is out. Watch the site for reviews of those films as well. So, Aaron, what does Wes Anderson really need? What is this about? Instructions for the projectors in the movies?
He has
What?
very, very specific instructions for his the showing of the Grand Budapest Hotel movie. I'm not going to go through all of them because nobody listening really cares. But the fact that he has actual instructions, he wants the theaters to follow to show his movie. I get why he's doing it because there are a lot of theaters with the old film reels that don't follow that and the movies look like crap. But for the most part, come on, man. It's just extending his quirky brand as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I agree with you to some degree because you guys know I'm not a big fan of Wes Anderson films at all. I had maybe 1.5 that I liked or enjoyed. But I think this concept is actually kind of interesting because if you know anything about the story, it takes place in 3 different time periods, and what he wants to do is basically have the different aspect ratios for each of the 3 different time periods, so the
Correct.
the screen looks a different size, which is something kind of from an artistic standpoint, it is quirky. It reeks of Wes Anderson, but I think that's kind of clever.
Actually kind of cool, yeah.
Yeah. I'm not saying I don't know how specific these instructions are. I don't know how that works in the movie theater, but my initial thing was to knock this. But I mean, I think it's kind of interesting. I don't want to say I'm interested to see the movie, but I think that's kind of a clever concept.
Now, because these are time periods, are these aspect ratios that would have been appropriate for a film made in that specific time period?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, yeah, that's really I got to give Wes Anderson that. I think that's a really neat idea.
Except for the fact that you guys are forgetting that he could showcase that within the film. He doesn't have to have anything special done at the theater. It could just be how the presentation comes to the theater.
Sure.
It's called filters.
Yes, thank you. It's not hard to do. I worked
I
in a
got that
theater.
shit on my iPhone.
I worked in a theater too. I know exactly how it's done. That is not hard to do at all. It's just a quirky, stupid thing that elite artists do to showcase their film. And I'm not. I think it sounds visually very cool, and I'm sure the movie's getting great reviews. I'm sure it looks beautiful. You just don't have to do it. You don't have to go to this extreme to do it.
Moonrise Kingdom also reviewed very well too, though. So
You get no argument from me on that, Scott.
But I'm the only one that took that bullet, by the way.
No, I saw it.
Oh, you did?
I just didn't feel like wasting my time reviewing it because you'd already destroyed it. So really, what could I add?
You take more than that bullet. But anyway, speaking of bullets, Schwarzenegger's running around telling everyone that will bend an ear to him that Terminator Genesis will have a lot of hardcore action, and it's going to be a lot more like T2. Does that get you guys a little excited?
I don't think it's that kind of action. I don't remember that.
Not that kind of hardcore.
I don't remember Little Hamilton working that hard. No.
Whoa. Well, at least not on camera.
Not on camera, no.
John Connor did come somehow. I mean,
She was with James Cameron.
Now we get his conception.
That's how they're going to mix the two. I got it. It makes sense, though.
Even the little sperms got guns.
I just
Shooting their way through her womb.
I just think that Arnold Schwarzenegger will do anything to pimp a movie, so people should just calm down. They haven't even shot the movie yet, so as far as what it's going to look like and what it's going to feel like, he has no idea yet.
I love that he got out of being a governor and just went immediately right back into action movie after action movie after action movie, like without even missing a beat.
Yeah, hardcore action. Yeah.
What?
Like people. That is my Arnold Schwarzenegger. Thank you very much.
It was very good.
Very convincing.
I liked
Justin.
it.
Yeah.
Get to the chopper.
Get to the chopper.
God, I officially don't want to watch an Arnold movie for a long time now.
Me either. I felt dirty.
That's just my only warning. Everybody keeps, and I've had, I don't know how many people tell me about this. Oh, did you hear Schwarzenegger said it's going to be like T2? I'm like, did you hear Schwarzenegger say every movie he's ever been in was a classic? Because he does. Every movie. And he did a fantastic job as governor, and he never touched the nanny. He lies a lot.
You should just join the WWF.
Oh, he should. Him and The Rock. Could you see that? What a throwdown.
Like the geriatric division or something like that.
Dude, he would.
This is a pitch man.
He might have 25 years on you. He will beat you silly.
Well, no kidding. Come on.
I'm just saying. Maybe you shouldn't talk smack because he might listen randomly, and then bam, he's at Scott Clark's house.
That'd be awesome. I'd be the guy that got his ass kicked by Schwarzenegger.
Scott Clark, yeah.
Did you turn like Leprechaun in there somewhere? Like
somewhere. I'd be going out.
Oh, man. Well, finally, we've got some reliable Star Wars news. We don't do a lot of the rumor stuff around here, so it's finally nice to give a little actual news here. So, shooting officially starts in May, and Episode 7 will take place about 30 years after Return of the Jedi. So, I know, Justin, you got to be just getting your wood all up on this one, huh?
Up. Oh, yeah. Well, now that we know when the filming is going to start, they are hip deep in casting all these different characters. I get more excited with every news piece that comes out, and especially knowing that they're going to start filming here in May. You have to start wondering, all right, when will the leaked photos start coming out? When are we going to start seeing some of the costumes, some of the set pieces, some of the props? I hate knowing too much about movies before going into them, but God damn it, it's Star Wars. I am a drug addict when it comes to that franchise. I have to know as much as I can, barring spoilers, about it before I see it. So I'm really looking forward to those first set pics that are going to be coming out, and when the magazines start getting their exclusive, photos from the movie production. I just have to live long enough for this film to come out. That's my new life goal.
After episode 9 is done, then you're like, okay, now I can die.
Then I can die. All right.
All of a sudden, McCumber's hitting the gym. Why are you going to the gym? Dude, Star Wars comes out in like a year and a half.
Make it.
I gotta make it.
You trying to lose some weight? No. Just trying to make sure the heart keeps going. That's it. It's the only requirement.
It is kind of funny you mentioned that about spoilers and seeing the set designs and stuff like that, Justin, because even when like the episode 1, 2, and 3 were done, I don't remember seeing online those like production shots or like the.
Oh, I do.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I wasn't paying attention quite as much, but yeah, that's true. I was like in high school, early college years, whatever.
Your parents still had the filter on your internet.
Yeah, well, that was PG, so that's what it was. No, but I mean, when episode 1 was announced and that was starting to become a real thing, I was so excited, about seeing a new Star Wars. And I felt a little bit let down. I mean, I enjoyed them, but I didn't love them. I'm starting to get that feeling again now that Episode 7 has a production date, and we're seeing who the actors might be and when it takes place. I just really hope it's worth my time this time. You know what I mean? I don't want to be let down again. Not that it was.
I don't think it's going to be any worse.
Well, I mean, J.J. Abrams.
I hope he puts in a lens flare just to piss you guys off.
You know he's going to have a lens flare.
Yeah, there's no hoping. That's a fact.
He's doing lens flare trials right now.
He heard all the talk, and he's not going to go back to that. But I hope it just get one big one.
Dude, there are swords made out of lasers. I'm pretty sure there's going to be at least 1 or 2.
People are going to walk out of this movie blinded. Seriously.
If we can get them, if we can get lens flares off refrigerators, we're going to get them off lightsabers.
And just think if you get a 3D lens flare, it's going to be like right in your eye.
It's coming at
burn
you.
your retina.
Mm-hmm.
Well, alrighty. Well, we are getting all kinds of Pixar-ific news this week. First came the news that The Incredibles and Ratatouille will get the 3D re-release treatment, and then we hear that The Incredibles is finally getting a sequel, and Cars is getting, for whatever reason, a third movie. Scotty, are they doing a good thing here, or are they just kind of treading water till they can figure out something original to do?
No, I think the 3D translations of these films is always a really good idea. I mean, they still look really good. Finding Nemo was fantastic when I saw that. And again, you've got a whole generation of kids that haven't seen them, maybe even on DVD. So I think the parents that grew up with them will be able to take their kids and they can both enjoy them at the same time. Me personally, I doubt I'll be dropping the cash for it just because I've got it on Blu-ray. I don't need to see it in 3D or anything like that. And maybe, like I said all the time, if I had nieces or nephews, maybe. But as far as the new films, The Incredibles, I'm really excited about. That seems like the most natural film to warrant a sequel from the Pixar
Yeah, and
franchise.
Brad Bird is writing it.
Is he? Okay,
Yep.
that's good. I mean, there's more or less limitless possibilities to do with that story. It's a superhero family. You can still have the novelty of a family that actually have all these superpowers and have the funny kind of stuff.
Oh, it sounds fantastic.
Yeah, exactly.
Where is my super suit?
Oh God, that was funny. But
Kids, if your parents haven't taken you or haven't bought and had you watch The Incredibles yet, you need to call.
You've obviously got bad parents because you
have
shouldn't
got
be listening
terrible
to this.
parents. Well, yeah, if you're listening to this, clue number one. But yeah, if you haven't seen The Incredibles by now, your parents are terrible.
well, they probably bought them Cars too, though. So that's
Oh, yeah.
They're
trade-off.
really terrible.
And a third Cars movie, I don't know, guys. I didn't even bother with the second one. Cars has always been the one Pixar film that I just was like, yeah, it's okay. And
Yeah, but don't they make bank?
Well, they made money, but the last one wasn't as successful as they thought it was going to be, but still made like $200 million. So
right. So
Wow.
it didn't hurt anything, I don't think. And Brian will get some voice work out of it later.
well, plus I mean, even outside of the movie, look at all the licensed toys and
I think that's where they make a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Disney, now that Disney owns Pixar and Marvel and everything, they want some franchises, and that is the easiest franchise to go to.
right.
I didn't know anybody. I don't know anybody that wants to see Ratatouille. Maybe Justin, because I know you said you liked it. But would you?
Oh, yeah, I
why
love-
Ratatouille again? I don't need to see that again.
I love Ratatouille.
I like Ratatouille a lot, actually.
All right, I stand corrected.
And The Incredibles. There's not going to be a new Pixar film, and it's this year, right? That we're getting The Incredibles or Ratatouille.
They're working.
Or is that next year?
The dates have not been announced yet.
All right. Well, apparently this is going to be like the first year since 2005 that we've not had a Pixar movie of some sort, whether it's original or a sequel, in theaters. Mm-hmm. And so apparently this Incredibles and Ratatouille 3Dization is one of those deals to, I guess, just kind of get their name still in the box office, make sure, they're still getting some Benjamins coming in while they're working on these others.
Mm-hmm.
Taken 3 has finally got greenlit, and Maggie Grace has signed on to return as Liam Neeson's daughter. And the Wolverine 2 director, James Mangold, says the movie will start after X-Men Apocalypse. Which one of these are you more excited about, or do you even care? Aaron?
Taken 3. Maggie Grace, I think people are flipping out that she's going to get kidnapped again. I just think they signed her because she's his daughter and has to show up at some point. Mm-hmm. If they kidnapped her again, I honestly don't think I'd go see it. But I don't think that'll happen.
It's like, bitch, get a stun gun.
Yeah, at this
get
point,
some pepper spray.
if
You
she
think
got
she's in like CIA boot camp at this point?
if she got picked up again, I would honestly probably leave the theater and just say either you kill her now, Liam, or I walk out. Those are your
You should
options.
call his daughter and say, you know what? You're on your own.
The tagline is, she honestly has no skills. She's zero. Wolverine 2, I'm really bummed about. The Apocalypse, people, in case you don't realize, they haven't even written it yet. So we're talking the movie after Days of Future Past, which hasn't even come out yet this year. So you're talking at least 2-3 years before they even start making a Wolverine sequel. I don't want it that far off. And plus, Hugh Jackman might get disinterested by then. You know what I mean?
He might get replaced by then.
Yeah, he's getting older. He's going to be up there, and trying to get back into that shape, I'm sure, is not fun at his current age. 3-4 more years ain't going to help.
He's got to be so tired.
Yeah.
He's even acknowledged himself publicly that, it's inevitable that he's going to get recast. So he knows it's coming at some point, but
He does.
maybe Wolverine 2 is it.
I don't want to wait that long. I want a sequel because I thought the last one was great, and I don't want to wait.
Somebody call Taylor Lautner. Tell him to start working out.
That's it.
You better shut your whore mouth.
Taylor Lautner with mutton chops. I can't even.
He's got the abs for it.
There's something magically terribly awesome about that idea.
What?
Maybe
No.
Crispin Glover.
There's nothing. There's nothing awesome about what you suggested. Nothing at all.
In a strange train wreck kind of way.
No, if you want to destroy a character, yes. Okay.
Justin's got the one idea to just derail the whole Marvel train
Yes.
right now.
If DC wants to win, follow Justin McCumber's advice.
Well, speaking of movies with numbers in them, looks like just in time for Harold Ramis's death, Ghostbusters 3 is in the works.
Wow.
Justin?
I wish I understood what exactly it is that has kept Ghostbusters 3 out of the theaters for so long, because for the longest time it was my understanding that Bill Murray was who was standing in the way of a Ghostbusters 3, that without his permission or his consent or whatever, they couldn't do a film. But now, from what, the articles that I've been reading, it sounds like he has nothing to do with it. It was strict, Sony is the one who owns the rights to Ghostbusters. And if they wanted to do another Ghostbusters film, they could have done one. But apparently what has been happening is that they wanted all three of the stars to be in it. But if Bill Murray was holding out, then they weren't going to do it. And so that's, even though he didn't legally have the ability to stop the movie from being made, as an actor of his caliber and as just the character he was, he kind of had that ability to gum up the works. But after Harold Ramis died, Ivan Reitman said that he, felt like he couldn't direct another Ghostbusters movie. He talked with Sony, said, let's get another, let's find another director to do this thing. Dan Aykroyd has had a script for a long time, and apparently that's the script that they're going to be basing this next film on, where the original Ghostbusters play a minor role and a whole new team of Ghostbusters that have either taken over or have already taken over for a little while. I do think it's sad that, Harold Ramis has died and won't be a part of this. I'll be curious to see how they work that into the story itself, but part of me really wants another Ghostbusters movie, and another part of me is like, I've already got two. Let's live with those, and let's all move on to an R.I.P.D. 2. Just kidding.
I'm okay as long as they're doing a reboot. I don't mind if they go off and they use Dan Aykroyd or Bill Murray, whoever is left, and Ernie Hudson. Everybody always forgets about Ernie Hudson. He was in it too, damn it.
That's a big Twinkie.
That is. I've seen shit that'll turn you white. I'm fine if they use them in a background role and kind of use them to transition new Ghostbusters to, take over or whatever. I'm actually fine with that. And then it becomes a whole new franchise, and it really is only minorly associated with the first movies. Because I love the concept, and it's always something I thought should continue.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense. I love the horror/action/comedy. Whenever you can mix those together and get a good movie, I love that idea.
I think the original Ghostbusters is a brand of comedy that we just don't see in today's comedies. Are either more slapstick or more vulgar.
And what about Jason Sudeikis? Like, he can do Fletch, so maybe he can do Bill Murray. They're kind of like the same character.
Just redo all of Bill Murray's movies.
Every
Jason
smarmy,
Sudeikis
sarcastic guy. He could do Meatballs. He could do Spies Like Us. He could do Stripes. Yep.
Groundhog Day.
He would make a fantastic Ghostbuster.
He would. Yeah.
You have to admit, he would be amazing as a Ghostbuster.
And get all ideas of putting Jonah Hill or Seth Rogen or James Franco or any of those sons of bitches out of your head.
Seriously.
We don't need stoner Ghostbusters.
No.
Yes.
That's what you don't need to be smoking the weed.
They're sitting over the trap just inhaling.
All right, well, let's go take a trip down to Aaron's Trailer Park. Welcome to Brian's Trailer Park.
Well, the first movie is Cuban Fury. And I'm going to tell you this with a straight face. Nick Frost, who you may remember from all of those movies with Simon Pegg. We're talking Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, etc. He's always the sidekick. He's never the lead. Well, in this movie, he's the lead. And he stars as a former dancing prodigy who has lost his way, and when he meets gorgeous Rashida Jones, who she is gorgeous, he decides to win her heart through the magic of salsa dancing. Just picture it in your head. If you haven't seen the trailer yet, just picture it. It's beautiful. Now, Justin, we're well aware that your hips do, in fact, lie. So are you going to try and cut a rug with a little Cuban fury?
Yeah, I think this is a really cute film. I like Nick Frost quite a bit, and he has, for a long time, just kind of existed in Simon Pegg's shadow. So it's good to see him step out front and carry a movie on his own. And from the trailer, he looks like he does a pretty good job of it. He's very confident on the screen, incredibly funny. Chris O'Dowd, who plays his antagonist.
Yeah, there you go.
He looks hysterical too. And I'm a bit of I cannot dance, but I love to watch people dance. And this looks like it's going to have some cute moments in it.
Yeah, this is like the first time that I actually want to see a dance movie. We've had all these like
Step Up and Step Up 2.
All these like just dance-off
Lambada.
movies that have nothing. This looks like one I actually want to check out. And kind of like Justin said, with Nick Frost always being in Simon Pegg's shadow, I think even greater than that he's actually playing a role in this movie that's more of a, even though it's a comedy, he's more of a real character. Mm-hmm. You know, when in all those movies like Shaun of the Dead, that he's just like a dopey, like nobody really acts like that in real life kind of character. And he's acting in this like, yeah, that's what a guy in his position might do. I mean, it's a little out there, but I can believe it would happen. Chris O'Dowd, like you said, he's become one of those actors I really like seeing pop up in films. First time I saw him was in Bridesmaids, and I thought he was really funny there. And
he's the cop in Bridesmaids.
Yeah, he was the cop in Bridesmaids. And the trailer, I don't know, maybe I saw a different one. The trailer said Valentine's Day 2014, though.
I think it was originally supposed to come out. I think it opened in the UK already.
Oh, did it? Okay.
Yeah, so it's not here yet.
Gotcha.
Americans are always late to the party.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense then.
Yeah. But
if you like Chris O'Dowd, he's also in the first season and a little bit of the second season of Girls. But he's using an American accent in that.
The one thing I liked about it was it wasn't full of just fat jokes. Because he was a larger guy. I mean, it was, sure, he's out of shape, but it's not, oh, I've become so fat that I can't do this. I'm so fat, oh, let's make fun of my weight one more time. I hate when larger guys end up doing comedies, and that's the only jokes you see in the trailers and in the movie. So as long as they're keeping with the smart, more humanistic humor.
I don't even think I even remember that being mentioned in the trailer.
No,
really.
that's what I'm saying. That's
well,
why
there's the joke at the end.
Yeah, the joke
They mentioned
where he asks, "What do I have that you don't?" And Chris O'Dowd says, "Type 2 diabetes."
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's funny.
Yeah, there's one or two comments about him, having to get in shape to do something like that, but it's not like Chris Farley,
Right, which is my biggest
jokes.
reason or problem with Chris Farley movies is that's all his humor was, just making fun of how fat I am, and that's not funny to me.
Well, it was funny at the time, but that was 15, 20 years ago.
Apparently, you've never been fat. Thanks for bringing up pain. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you there, Tubby. Well, when does it open?
I don't know. Fuck.
Well, I'll tell you what, I pulled a Scotty and did a little research. It actually opens on April 11th later this year.
Whew, thank God. Thank God. This is why you got this job.
That's right. What else you got?
All right. The Maze Runner. And that's an adaptation of YA, or young adult, as people like us in the biz call it, novel. It's set. We're not in the biz.
You're in the biz?
We're not in the biz. I just always wanted to say it. It's set in a post-apocalyptic world, which, of course, aren't they all? It's about a young man named Thomas who wakes up with no memory and soon learns that he and his fellow runners have been trapped deep in a maze of some sort. They have to work together in order to escape, and that's pretty much the entire plot. It's like Hunger Games in a maze, I would think. Now, Scotty, you've had your fair share of dealing with roofied teenage boys.
Whoa.
So I want to know if
God.
The Maze Runner is anything you're looking forward to escaping to.
I don't know how to answer that safely because I actually kind of want to see this movie.
Start with denying.
Yeah.
Stop talking around it, counselor.
Yeah, I actually really want to check this out. You guys know I'm a sucker for post-apocalyptic type movies anyway. Mm-hmm. The premise is kind of interesting, though. Sure, it's a little bit knockoff of Hunger Games, but what's interesting in the trailer that I see is that they're kind of stuck in the middle of a maze, and they have the choice to either go into the maze to try to escape or not. But apparently, before this character is introduced, no one has ever survived a day in the maze. So I think it sounds kind of interesting. I've never even heard of the book until I saw this trailer, so I kind of want to check out the book and it seems kind of interesting. I will say it's hard for me to take that actor seriously, Will Poulter, the guy that played. It was in We're the Millers.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to take him seriously
After that movie.
But hey,
he's
it's also
convincing. He's convincing.
Yeah, he is. It's also got Jojen from Game of Thrones in it too. I haven't seen him in anything since that or Love Actually, so I kind of like that actor too.
From what I've seen so far, it looks like one of the better, YA translations that's out there. Looks like it's just weird. I love the poster.
Yeah.
You get that kind of you see the person running in, and you just see how crazy big this maze is, and even the trailer, you get a good sense of that. I'm curious. I'm looking forward to it.
Justin, did you read this, or did your wife read it? Because I know usually your wife reads these, right?
She reads some. Neither of us have read this, and I don't know if it's just me being completely over these teen YA books or what, but for some reason this trailer just kind of left me a little. I think I've kind of been there, kind of done that across all the other films that they're putting out there, adapting out of books. I don't know. After Hunger Games, those being so good, and then the shit fest that has been the ones lately, and the jury's still out on Divergent. We'll just have to see. But I'm kind of done with seeing a bunch of teens trying to save themselves or living in this strange new world. I don't know. I'm kind of done.
There's something special about one of them.
Isn't there?
Apparently.
Always? Yeah.
Are they divergent? Do they know how to shoot a bow real good? It could be jealousy too.
Well, this movie opens on September 19th, 2014, because I just looked it up.
Yeah.
And you can watch these trailers and more from recent episodes of The Hollywood Outsider at thehollywoodoutsider.com. If you have a thought or topic idea, you can tweet us. I'm not Brian Williams.
Did you pause on purpose?
The Hollywood Outsider?
Oh, you can tweet us at H_outsider. You can like us on Facebook at facebook.com/The Hollywood Outsider. Leave us a message or text us at 818-81-AMA-HO. That's 818-814-6246. Or email us at feedback@thehollywoodoutsider.com. Brian?
All right. Next up is the big screen, where we do some reviews of new releases. We've got first up out of the gate is Need for Speed. And Justin, I think you and Aaron saw that, didn't you?
Not together, but yes, we both did see it.
That's
As
too
I was
bad for
watching
you.
it, though, I could feel Aaron next to me, just gripping my hand as the cars.
Just kind of ruined that
room.
fantasy I had in my head of you two, in the theater.
Well, Aaron was on the screen, so there you go.
Need for Speed is an action crime drama. The story is pretty basic. I'll just give you the bare bones of it just real quick. Fresh from prison, a street racer who is framed by a wealthy business associate joins a cross-country race with revenge in mind. His ex-partner, learning of the plan, places a massive bounty on his head as the race begins. That really right there, that's more story than you probably get from the movie itself. But Need for Speed isn't about story, really. I mean, it's about speed. It's about cars. Now, this was directed by Scott Waugh, whose only other directorial credit was Act of Valor, but he spent the lion's share of his career as a stuntman and as a stunt coordinator on movies like Bad Boys 2, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Triple X, The Italian Job. This is a guy who has done a lot of car work before, and I'm pretty sure that's why they hired him to do this. Now, Aaron, we do have to talk about the story a little bit, to give a framework for all of these car scenes. Were you entertained by the story? Did you feel like it was enough? Did it do enough? Did you even really care?
Oh my God, this story is dumb. D-U-M, dumb. It's just, there are so many logistical impossibilities. A physics professor, I think, would kill himself if he really thought about it too hard. There's just nothing in this movie is possible.
We don't go to movies for science lessons.
That's true, Mr. Tyson. That's true. But there's so many just dumb story plots where they're trying to be lighthearted. They fuel a car in the middle of the highway. This is a story point. This isn't just like a cool stunt. This is a story point. They have to do it because they don't have time. And
They
then
don't have time to stop and fuel up, man.
But then a few scenes later, they stop and fuel up. I'm just saying.
They made up the time at that point.
What's that?
I think they made up some. No, in fact, they were even further behind.
No, they were further behind. Yeah. So it was something that they did because it was a cool stunt. It was just dumb. There's one point where they get one of the side characters, the sidekicks or whatever, some of the side mechanics that help Aaron Paul's character, as he goes across country. They want him to quit his job, and he quits his job. And 2 minutes before he quits his job, he's basically very serious. He didn't want to take a personal phone call because he takes his job so seriously. 2 minutes later, he's doing something that makes absolutely no sense and does nothing to propel the story forward other than a cheap joke.
But it's fucking hysterical.
It's not. It was stupid.
I laughed my ass off.
I didn't. It was very dumb. But look, just talking about the story, dumb. I can't say how much more dumb it is. It's just dumb.
But the central element to this story, what really drives the film.
Wow, really? Really?
Yeah, is Aaron Paul's need for revenge. Did that part of the story at least work for you on some level?
Yeah, I mean, that part I think has to work or you don't follow the movie at all. But he's, and let's just lead right into acting because I think that's where you're going anyway. Mm-hmm. Aaron Paul is a born movie star. I firmly believe that. There wasn't a minute, and I think you and I talked about this, where I was thinking about Breaking Bad.
Really?
And that's really what I thought I would be. I'd be like, oh, there's Jesse. Yo, bitch. And that sort of thing. That didn't happen. I think, even though he's a smaller guy, because, he's barely taller than that car. But when
he is wee.
He's a wee man. He's a wee guy. But he's got that gravelly voice, that smoker's voice, and he's just got that, he just has that air of coolness about him, and I think it really carries the movie. That's what you need in a movie like this.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely has a certain James Dean quality to him. And of all the people in the movie, I think he really pulled off his character the best. Imogen Poots, I enjoyed. I didn't like her at first, but as the film went on, I grew to like her more and more. But there's a cast of funny men who kind of follow Aaron Paul's character around, helping him in various ways. Most of them are pretty forgettable, but I do want to give a special shout out to Scott Mescudi, who plays their kind of eye in the sky character. He is, when I was watching him, I felt like I was watching almost like a younger Eddie Murphy a little bit. He is really, really funny. And I thought of all of the little sock puppets that make up the secondary characters, he was by far the most entertaining of them all. But I did want to ask you real quick, though, what did you think about Michael Keaton?
And by the way, that Scott Mescudi, that's Kid Cudi, the rapper. If anybody,
is it?
Yeah, that's a rapper.
Okay, he was really good.
Yeah, he's funny. Michael Keaton was, he's in a room and he's basically observing everything that's going on through just a computer, seeing stuff that even Obama couldn't see. The parts of that are like, what? But, he's fun. He's Michael Keaton. The guy brings manic energy everywhere he goes.
Well, he spends most of the movie seated, just speaking into a microphone, but he's able to give more energy and enthusiasm doing that than a lot of actors can do with a full range of motion and standing up and stomping around. I thought for, not a minor part, but definitely not a part that called for a lot of acting, he really brought a lot to that. And I was shocked at the end of the movie just how much I really enjoyed seeing him perform. But really the biggest actors in this film are the cars. Whether you're talking about American Muscle or these European rockets, you go to this film really for the cars and the stunt work involved. For me, this is where, and it's appropriate that it would, this is where the movie really, really shined.
Absolutely.
What did you think, and how do you think that it compares to the Fast and Furious kind of car work? Not that we have to draw those comparisons, but this year, this is kind of our car movie since we won't be getting another Fast and Furious this year. How do you think it filled that niche? Do you think it did it better, or is it just a different type of car movie?
No, I think it had some of the best car racing I've seen in movies in a long time. It was really exciting. You could tell that they were going for the Bullet vibe, which is very real. Bullet is a lot of people might know. It's an old Steve McQueen movie with a lot of racing, and they did practical effects and practical racing and real stunts, and that's what this movie did. And you can tell in every scene, these cars look awesome. When they hit 120, there's a lot of scenes where I feel like I'm going 120 miles an hour. What you want to feel when you leave a movie like this is you want to get in your car and think you can outrun the cops. And if you do that...
Don't do it, but think you can.
Yeah, of course, don't. We're not advocating outrunning them unless you really have a cool car. But if you get
and a hot British chick next to you.
Oh, the accent would be great, yeah. If you can get in your car and you feel like that, I think a movie like this succeeds, and I definitely wanted to do a few laps around the parking lot.
The car races are amazing in this thing. I never felt like I was watching a bunch of CGI, and they very well could have been, but it felt real. These felt like real cars and real people driving them. And I loved the mix, that they have between the early portions of the movie with a lot of American-type muscle cars, especially Ford Mustang, which I'm not a big Mustang fan. I'm more of a Camaro and Corvette guy, but still, it's really neat to see these things go off, and then at the end, amping it up with some cars that are worth just millions of dollars, and to see them going, almost 200 miles an hour is incredible. But they did an amazing job of giving some racing scenes that really had me gripping the arms of my seat. And when I got outside, I walked to my truck going, damn it, I wish I had a sports car, because I would hammer it down. But, Aaron, $1 to $10, what would you think is an appropriate amount to pay to go see this movie?
Story's dumb. It really is. It reminds me a lot of Cocktail. If you remember Cocktail, the plot, the story was absolutely ludicrous, but Tom Cruise made that movie work. Aaron Paul makes this movie work, and the action is really fun. Even though my brain is absolutely not necessary to watch it, I give it $6.50. Wow.
I feel like I enjoyed it a lot more than you did. I was entertained almost entirely throughout its 2-hour runtime. There's some great moments even outside of the car, especially at this one truck stop where I was laughing my ass off. This movie feels like a weird mix of Fast and Furious with a little Cannonball Run. When it was done, I almost could have gone back and watched it all over again. It was a real rush, and for me, I give this a solid 8.
Wow.
Aaron, you got to see something that a few of us didn't get to see.
Yes, sir. I saw Bad Words, and that's the Jason Bateman new movie. In it, Jason Bateman directs and stars as well as Guy Trilby, I believe is how you say his name, Trilby. And Guy is on a mission to take part in a spelling bee. Despite the fact that he's 40 years old, he also meets up with an Indian boy who's played by a very sweet Rohan Chand. He befriends him. Guy starts to show a little bit of the heart necessary to carry you through to the end of a movie like this. But the story is not as cut and dry as that. Guy has brought along a journalist to document his attempt, and as the movie goes on, you kind of start to find out exactly what's going on, why he's doing this horrible thing, because everybody hates him, because it's essentially ruining the esteemed respect of the spelling bee, which I didn't know was that esteemed, but apparently it's a big deal.
It is, yeah.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
As a teacher, that's like a big deal?
Well, I mean, they don't...
I came in second, so I...
Did you really?
Yeah, I didn't win. Dina Kapani. I still remember you.
What word did she beat you
score to
with?
settle?
Mm-hmm. She was Indian. Small fact. Yeah, weird. So I guess I had a little bit of a chip on my shoulder watching this movie, so I understood where he's coming from. But the movie is crude. It's rude. It's foul. It's even fouler than the Red Band trailer. So if you've seen the Red Band trailer, it actually goes further. So it's there's a lot of filthy stuff in here, but it made me laugh a lot. Jason Bateman is such a good actor. He has a rare talent where he can play a guy this unlikable and you still like him. You know, like you watch Bad Santa. I never really liked Billy Bob Thornton. I just laughed a lot. Mm-hmm. You know, but here I like him the whole movie, even though I think he's despicable. I wouldn't want to hang out with him for some portion of it, but for the most part, I think he'd be fun to like go grab a beer with because he'd make fun of everybody. Mm-hmm. And I like that. I'd like to see him play this character like 5 more times.
Turn your curry hole around.
Turn your curry. He's Slumdog.
A Slumdog.
Oh God.
Your chair was asking for help.
Yes, and I gotta tell you, if you are the kind of person that wants to sit there and get offended, you don't like racial humor, you don't like sexist humor, you don't like foul humor, you will not like this movie because that's
You won't
all,
like this podcast.
That's true. You probably won't like that either. But that's all he does throughout the entire movie. He offends everybody. There's nobody that's safe. I mean, he makes fun of everybody. So, and the entire movie hinges on Jason Bateman, which I actually respect, because for your first directorial effort to put everything on your shoulders, I think proves that he has confidence in his ability, and he showcases it with the material. He had faith in the script, and it shows. The movie just works. And his attachment to Rohan's character, I really thought was going to be cheesy at some point, because in the trailer it even starts to get a little, oh, is this going to be one of those things where the kid just melts his heart and stuff?
Right.
Not at all. No, I mean, he treats the kid like shit most of the movie, even after he likes him. Yeah. And every time it was getting a little too close to cheesy, Bateman had the sense to just go somewhere really wrong and inappropriate, and it saved the movie. And it happened several times. So, Bad Words, it's one of those movies that I'm not sure how it's going to hold up over repeated viewings. There's just so much shock and mean-spirited humor. I don't know if it's going to be something you want to watch over and over, but it was easily worth a trip to the theater. And at $10 full price admission, Bad Words is worth $7.
Nice.
All right. Well, next up is the box office, where we kind of see where the movies that this weekend did. Veronica Mars. I know you guys are some marshmallows, so we'll start with that.
It was so good.
It opened up, did really good. It opened up in 11th place with only $2 million, which barely made. I think they raised more money on Kickstarter, didn't they?
They made 5.7. Yeah, but that doesn't take into account video on demand and everything else.
Okay. But they did have the second highest per theater average, which was apparently $1 million per theater. So,
you are such a dick.
Yeah, and surprised, I really doubt a sequel will be made.
Yep.
Bring it to Kickstarter, Rob Thomas. I'll pay money again.
There you go.
All right. Well, in a weekend where we've had big, muscular, greased-up Greeks, we had fast cars, Tyler Perry, and Liam Neeson. The top dog this weekend, Mr. Peabody and Sherman, at almost $22 million. Next up was, yeah, you saw that. Next up was 300, Rise of an Empire, at a little over 19 million. Need for Speed opened up at almost 18 million, so could have been better, huh? Mm-hmm. Nonstop hanging in there at a little over 10, and Tyler Perry's The Single Moms Club looks like they're going to be moving in together as roommates, because at $8 million they didn't make anything.
Yay!
So
It's so sad that we're all like, yay, it was unsuccessful.
Yay! Maybe we could have a movie by Tyler Perry that's not called Tyler Perry's. How you like that? I hate that arrogant stuff. I hate it when John Carpenter did it too.
I actually don't mind that.
Oh, you shut up, hippie.
They're the one writing it and directing it, or producing it. I'm all right with that.
Good. Every movie will just be so-and-so's movie.
Hey, works for me.
Because you know that when the movie comes out, it will be Justin McCumber's Haywire.
Fuck yes, it will.
Jesus. Fair enough.
Read my mind. All right, guys, we have got 3 films to be discussing this week, all of them opening up on March 28th. One of them we just got a review of from Aaron, Bad Words. He already described the plot. He already gave us his thoughts. I really don't feel like I need to beat everybody over the head and do this one over a second time. So let's move on to the second one. Sabotage. Yes, I only hear the Beastie Boys song when I hear this title.
Yep.
Sabotage!
Sabotage! Now, this is directed by David Ayer, who also did End of Watch, Harsh Times. He did SWAT, Training Day, or he wrote Training Day, pardon me. Mm-hmm. It is the story of members of an elite DEA task force who find themselves being taken down one by one after they rob a drug cartel safe house. Now, this one stars the aforementioned Arnold Schwarzenegger. Also got Sam Worthington, Terrence Howard, and Harold Perrineau. What? Yes. Wow. I had to throw that out there. And Joe Manganiello.
Manganiello.
Yeah,
know.
the werewolf dude from True Blood. What do you guys think? When I first heard about this, I wasn't sold on it mostly because of Arnold, but knowing that it's, directed by the same guy who did End of Watch, and it has a very similar kind of feel to it, I was still kind of hopeful. After seeing the trailers, I'm still not quite sure what to think. What do you guys think?
I think it's actually cool to see Arnold in an action movie where you're not supposed to laugh about the fact that he's in an action movie. Do you know what I'm saying?
Where he's not
Where
making
it's
fun
not
of
just one-liners constantly.
Right. It's a somewhat serious action role for him. I feel like we haven't had that. We had that one with him with Expendables. He's obviously
he did
that.
Last Stand with Johnny Knoxville.
Yeah,
I'm so old, make laugh.
Exactly.
It doesn't look like it's revolving around him solely, though.
Exactly.
No, it's a team.
There's a lot of different. Right. Yeah, it's a good team. I like the story set up. It looks to be an action movie with a lot of quality acting. And man, he looks old. He
is old.
I know, but
he could still kick your dick in the dirt.
Absolutely.
He's a tough-looking dude.
His accent could kick your ass.
Probably. I don't think I would have realized that was Sam Worthington if I didn't have his name on the marquee either.
Or Josh Holloway. I didn't realize it was him either.
Yeah, this is one to sit up and take note of. I'm kind of intrigued. What about you, Brian?
Yeah, from the get-go, this movie looked interesting to me. But I like a lot of the characters, the actors that are in it. So even Schwarzenegger is just he's just that part. You got to take the bad with the good, and it looks edgy. It looks gritty and everything, like a lot of those movies that the guy made in the past. So it's right up my alley. I love lots of action, and I'm sorry, but like the scenes where the team's kind of walking out and stuff, and after performing some of their things, man, they just look badass.
Mm-hmm. So it's like Dog the Bounty Hunter all over the place.
Exactly.
I want to see it. I love David Ayers is a great writer. I don't necessarily think he's a great director, but he's a great writer, and he has written some really good crime thrillers. And this, I think, is not going to be so much an action movie. I think it's going to be more of a crime thriller because that's just how he writes. The trailers are just trying to sell you on the action. And I'm not one. I don't apologize. I like Schwarzenegger. I don't think he's a great actor, but I think he generally, except for maybe a couple slip-ups, makes good, fun action movies. He never tries to have high art involved,
He's entertaining.
Yes, He's entertaining. And unfortunately, we give him crap. We all give him crap. I'd love to give him crap. He's not talented as an actor, but he does do a decent job. And I thought Escape Plan, he acted actually very well in that movie. Even though hey, that's another Stallone movie. He was still good in it. So I want to see this. I definitely want to see this. High on my list.
Well, I'd heard an interview with Joe Manganiello on a different podcast several months ago, and I remember him talking about this movie and just how much fun he had making it and how much his respect for Arnold went up through the making of this film. And he really was high on... Let me finish the sentence on that one. Really high on the film and was really proud of the work he did. So I'm really curious. You guys have convinced me a little more that I need to not let the Arnold factor, tip the scales in the not see it direction. All right, the last film that we're going to be talking about, Noah. In case anybody doesn't know the story on this, a man suffering visions of an apocalyptic deluge takes measures to protect his family from a coming flood. Inspired, how big the quotes are around that will be up to you to decide, by the biblical story. Now, this was written and directed by Darren Aronofsky. It stars Russell Crowe, Emma Watson, Jennifer Connelly, and Anthony Hopkins, with Ray Winstone as looks like the big baddie. Aaron, I kind of got to come to you.
Ugh.
What do you think? Are you ready to get shit rained on? I don't know. Whatever. Go.
Doesn't Russell Crowe look really good for being 900 years old? If you know the Bible story, you know what I'm talking about. I love Russell Crowe. I always have. I always will. I think he's extremely powerful when he wants to be as an actor. But I hate Darren Aronofsky. Aronofsky. I don't even care how I got his name wrong. I don't care. I don't like him. I don't think he's a quality director. I think he's a hack. He spends most of his time creating metaphors instead of telling a story. So I have a hard time getting excited for anything he does. And honestly, the fact that they let him near a story that was told based on the Bible, and I know you don't like it, Justin, but a lot of, millions of people like it. They would like, if you're going to tell a big budget retelling of the story, be fair to it, or don't bother. I think this is one of the things where it wasn't necessary, and I think it's going to be a huge flop, honestly.
Well, you're not going to have the Christian audience behind it if there's a lot of inaccuracies. Again, we don't know. We haven't seen it.
I mean, it's based on the Bible, so technically, by making it, it's inaccurate. But because it's basically a story that was told to somebody else, and they told the story. It's not like Noah sat down and wrote it down.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. But
if you believe in the Bible, all you atheists don't fucking attack.
If he had written it, there'd have been a lot more fight scenes.
Exactly. Apparently, yeah.
I don't hate Aronofsky as much as you do. I couldn't stand The Fountain, but I did like a couple of his. I liked Pi, and I liked
Requiem for a Dream.
Requiem for a Dream. I really liked it a lot. As far as the movie itself, though, I'm more intrigued by the controversy than actually the quality of the film, just because I want to see what everybody's talking about.
I don't like when people make controversy because nobody's actually seen it. They're just talking,
Well, I mean, it was given to test audiences, and they changed it because they didn't like it and that kind of thing. So it's one I want to see, but by no means in the theater do I got to go rush out and see it. So
I want to see it. Just it's almost the special effects, if nothing else. I mean, I like all the characters. The one thing I don't like about it is, I don't like Aronofsky either. I just don't like the majority of his work. It just doesn't appeal to me. But this the thing that bothers me though is, and I think I said this before when we first saw the trailer, and that's where all the characters are just too pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and that was my problem with Troy. It was just like, here's this, this gritty era in history, and there's all these people they're beautiful. I'm like, you're not. It's just to me it's just distracting. I'm sorry, they didn't neatly trim their beards down to like a level 2 on their trimmer. You know what I mean? Bronze and all that. I don't know. It just bugs me when they go that route.
I'd rather watch Evan Almighty than sit through Noah at this point. And I love Russell Crowe, and I actually want to see I was excited about when they first announced it. I really don't care personally which take on Noah they go with. I don't care how much they stretch the story. But I think if you're making something that close to what people care about so much, you should at least make the attempt. And it doesn't. I know Darren Aronofsky is not going to.
Yeah, I'm really torn on this one because unlike you two, I love Aronofsky. I liked Pi. I thought Requiem for a Dream was a masterpiece. Fuck Fountain haters. I thoroughly enjoyed The Fountain.
Well, you're wrong.
And I like The Wrestler quite a bit too. How I missed Black Swan, I still don't know. I haven't seen it yet, but I like him. I don't care for the biblical aspect of it. So I don't know if I really want to see it, but I like Aronofsky. I hate to... I hope he didn't pick this film just because it was something that he could maybe use to work people up.
I firmly believe that, based on his comments and his interviews, and he's an artiste.
Mm-hmm.
Of these 3 films, guys, Aaron, you've already seen one of them, but of these 3, which one do you guys are you most interested to head out to the theater to see? Bad Words, Sabotage, or Noah? Aaron, let's get you out of the way.
Sabotage.
Brian?
Even though it makes as much sense as Ang Lee making a Hulk movie, I'm going with Noah.
Scotty?
I'm going with Bad Words. I can't wait to see that thing.
I'm going to say Sabotage only because Bad Words is a movie I could see it at home and feel just as entertained by it. But Sabotage looks like one of those movies that's just all-out action, and I really want to see that on a big screen. So there you go.
Yeah, but you don't have a whole audience full of people laughing with you.
I laugh enough myself.
Well, yeah, we know.
All right, well, here's where you can hear us at. Listen and subscribe on iTunes, your Stitcher Radio app. Give us a thumbs up, or through our RSS feed at thehollywoodoutsiders.com. There is a new episode every Thursday, so make sure you subscribe to that shit.
Great sales pitch.
Yep.
What's this movie?
So next up is our semi-weekly, whenever we can, what's this movie quote?
It's actually every week.
I don't think we've ever missed one.
Yeah, pretty much. So each week we play or a listener suggested clip from a movie. If you think you know what the clip is, email us at feedback@thehollywoodoutsider.com, tweet or Facebook us the answer, and next week we'll give you a proper ho shout out. Last week's answer was Scott Bowfinger. And let's see here.
It was Scott's answer, and it was Bowfinger. Not so easy, is it, Ron Burgundy?
No, it's not. Go fuck yourself, San Diego. Let's see. The knuckleheads who got it was Sean McDonald. Who loves that haircut line? I don't know what the hell that is. Austin Price, Sean McGuire, and Craig Schermerhorn.
The clip was that haircut line. If you listen to the podcast, Brian, you probably
Why do you put it in the middle of everybody's names?
Because I know what it meant.
I thought it was like somebody's Twitter handle or something.
You should probably...
The haircut line.
I mean, I had somebody
I've
like
seen
my
weirder.
picture.
That's true. That's true.
All righty. Well, this week it's Aaron's turn. So if you think you know it, email us at feedback@thehollywoodoutsider.com. And if you guess it correctly, we'll call you out next week. Here it is.
Billy, what the hell are we going to do now?
We gotta show these guys they finally met their match.
What?
Hey, Pepin!
I'm hearing you, Barney.
I see you got Charlie Crawford down there with you.
Yeah, we got a whole lot of...
Oh, my God! Damn!
Hey, Pepin! Charlie Crawford ain't with you anymore.
Bastard! Fire!
All righty. Well, next up is The Couch. First up in TV news, we've got, it looks like CBS just renewed almost every daggum one of their shows. So as far as the state of TV, do you guys feel like the networks, it's really just, like the big four anymore? Or do you think it's kind of just the big four is just dissipating there, Justin?
They are still the big four, but in 10 years, are they going to still be the big four? I don't know. I think their dominance is hinged on the elderly at this point. Mm-hmm. The idiots and the elderly. Once they're gone, then I think the big four will cease to be, the big boys on the block, between AMC's and those cable channels, between Netflix and Amazon and Hulu. We are getting so diversified in the way that we watch our television. I honestly have to wonder how long the big four networks can continue to hold reign, especially considering what these other channels are able to get away with language, violence, sexuality-wise. I think people's tastes in television are definitely changing. And once folks like my parents and grandparents aren't watching the NCIS fucking shows in droves, you will see a sea change.
I agree with you. I think that these big four, as we're calling them, are the big four for primetime television more than anything else. Not the top four most respected networks at this point. And like you said, it's a generational thing too. But that generation relies on watching their shows at specific times, during dinner, right after dinner, that kind of thing. They don't really, some of them don't watch Netflix, some of them don't have Hulu, they don't have all these options. But those kind of things available and a lot more people getting cable than used to. I remember when I was a kid, cable was like, if you had cable, you were like high society kind of thing. I mean, it was a big deal. And that primetime slot is becoming less and less of a big deal because with the advent of DVR and all these other services. I mean, look at some of our favorite shows on our podcast. Game of Thrones, Newsroom, Walking Dead, Breaking Bad. If I remember correctly, all of those aired on Sunday nights. Mm-hmm. Sunday night seems to be like the time to watch quality TV shows.
Absolutely.
Instead of Monday through Friday after work is done.
Well, and I don't even think, because a lot of people just don't watch shows when they air anymore. Mm-hmm. I can't remember the last time. I think there's Walking Dead is literally the only, Walking Dead and Game of Thrones are the only two shows I ever watch when they actually air. Mm-hmm. Everything else I watch long after the fact or an hour or two later, or, except for if Justin and I are doing the TV Dog thing, then we have to. But
right.
But for the most part, I don't watch anything when it airs. I just don't. And I looked at the ratings before we were going to talk about this, just to kind of get a feel, because everybody says, well, the big four still get all the big numbers. They really don't. Walking Dead beats the Big Four every week. Mm-hmm. Can you believe that? A freaking cable show about zombies where honestly nothing happens except for the last 5 minutes of the show every week. And this show is just crushing people in the ratings. I mean, just crushing people.
But is it crushing them in the age range that advertisers are most desirous
yes,
of?
Walking Dead is actually crushing them in the demographic that they want as well as total viewers. I mean, because they factor in DVRs, where a lot of people that watch CSI or NCIS and those kind of shows watch them live because they tend to be an older skewing show and they have nothing going on, I guess, except for getting up in the morning and going to the IHOP, whatever. But, for these more water cooler shows, people record them. And then they'll either watch them a little later that night or the next day, or they're traveling. They don't want to miss them, so they always record them where they might not record an NCIS because, they'll watch it when it's on. The ratings are actually getting a lot smaller for TV. And some of the shows that get renewed, it's crazy. Like Justin, you're a big fan of Grimm, right? Mm-hmm. Grimm gets hardly any, 7 or 8 million viewers a week. That's it. Now, 5 years ago, that show would have been canceled on the second airing. Mm-hmm. Now it's going into what, 3rd or 4th season, something like that. Mm-hmm. It's because the networks have to be a lot more open to lower rated shows because they're competing with so many other channels. I really don't think there is a Big Four anymore, or it's going away.
I think the Big Four have a lot of. I think sports is a big part of them.
Yep.
They do have Fox has got NASCAR, NBC has. They've got I think they got baseball. They got the Olympics. They've got other events like that. They've got CBS and ABC both have college football. Of course, there's NFL on NBC on CBS and Fox. All of those are huge, huge ratings for them. I mean, I know a lot more than NCIS, Miami, Vice, whatever. And
that's a great show. Somebody's going to make that now. We'll bring back Crockett. Because he's old and he'll fit right in.
Crockett's working in a lab now.
Yeah!
All right, Caruso.
So, I think sport, and I think your Big Four, more or less, is still, especially even with ESPN, because ESPN is owned by Disney, which owns ABC. So that's tied in. They are still your main channels to go to for sports. For the big events, not for everyday sports, it's ESPN, hands down. But for the most part, it's the Big Four, and I don't see that changing. I don't see it changing in 10 years, and I don't see it changing past that for a while.
Okay.
What shows are still on that you just can't understand why? I mean, if you could do kind of a purge of your own, just kind of clear out a bunch of stuff and open up room for some actual good TV, some quality TV, where would you start, Scott?
I'd start with reality shows.
Oh, thank God.
Especially ones involving Kardashians or white trash or other people that should not be idolized. I mean, seriously. That and singing competitions.
Really? I'm kind of surprised you would want that to go away.
No, I mean, American Idol is in what, how long has American Idol been on? Over a decade now, right?
Oh, yeah, well over.
13th year, 12th year,
I mean,
something like that.
And then they just keep doing iterations of it. Like The Voice and then
now
X Factor.
I love The Voice.
Do you?
But I do. I love actually, the first few weeks, especially where I love the concept that the judges are they don't see anybody. They just, all they hear is the voice of the person singing. And if it's good enough, they argue these four icons in their genres of music are fighting for this person that nobody's ever heard of.
Yep. It is kind of clever. It's just...
the show lasts way too long as far as from the time it opens till the time the finale ends.
Right.
Because it's like 2 hours, 2 or 3 nights a week, and it's just...
They milk it.
They really, really do. And that's the part I don't like. But the concept of the show I love.
Mm-hmm. But there's just so many. I think the competition show, to me, the most interesting is the ones that like America's Got Talent, where you actually see different things, but where it's nothing but singing. That gets really old to me very quickly, especially when there's so many of them. And then the last one is those just real cheaply made sitcoms with the obvious canned laughter.
The laugh track?
Yeah. I mean, it's just I can't even watch them as a guilty pleasure, honestly. I mean, I like Big Bang Theory and I like How I Met Your Mother and those kind of things, but there's just some that just seem like they're just thrown together in like a couple days, and I'm tired of them. That's all I got. I
want the reality show. Even though I don't like them, I don't want to just say get rid of shows because I don't like them, because that's ridiculous. But the shows like you were talking about, like a Honey Boo Boo, that's almost insulting to us as a culture. Mm-hmm. So make it go away. Anything where you basically have a show to make fun of someone. Hey, look, you're pregnant in 16. You know, when that show started, they were kind of talking about, issues and using it to get kids talking about pregnancy and stuff like that. I like that part of it. But then it became just like every other MTV show where it's just about fame and celebrity or I'm a Teen Mom or whatever the hell it was called. I don't remember the name.
Well, plus
people were getting pregnant to get on television.
Exactly.
I mean, it's just insane to me. Now, I'm all for a show that's going to help educate people, but to do that's where you should draw the line. Mm-hmm. And all reality.
I want a show where you have to have an abortion to get on it.
That's
right. I just said it.
I like the way you think, man. You gotta go.
If only it was retroactive for so many people.
Exactly. Most of the people that are on these shows. And I think once you're on a reality show, something like a dating show or something like that, you are some kind of law says you can't be on another reality dating show. Stop recycling these damn people. Like you can watch one. Yes, they're always on. They're constantly on the different.
Every bachelor and bachelorette is a former contestant from the previous season.
Yeah, or something.
Really?
And you'll see them on other shows, on other networks and stuff.
Like let's say Bachelorette is running right now. For instance, hypothetically, it's running right now. And she's picking between 20, 25 different bachelors. There will be a popular bachelor in that group that they'll pull for the next season. Maybe he lasted, maybe he didn't, he didn't get the girl. Maybe he was one of the last 2 or 3. Maybe he was really popular midway, and for whatever reason, he didn't get picked. Whatever the case is, they will draw one of them out, and then it's because, it's like I say, they're just recycling these same people.
And then there should be a ban on spinoffs that are the exact same. Like, if you have CSI, you can't have CSI New York unless it's a completely different concept, or they exaggerate, or make it more of an action show, or just change something.
Or they have to sing.
Yeah, or they have to sing. That'd be great. Like you watched NCIS and then NCIS LA, I think it is. Even though I'm not a big fan of those shows,
and they've got another one that's in New Orleans coming out.
Yeah, but I will say the LA one, it feels different. It doesn't feel like the same show. It feels like a completely different show because it has, it has LL Cool J and whatever. It's just a different kind of show. I'm fine with that. If you're going to spin it off, just make it different. But these CSIs, I couldn't tell you which one is which, except for David Caruso put his sunglasses on and won them a lot. That's it.
My gut instinct was to go with the endless procedural procession that seems to run across these networks. But really, it is, I think it's the reality shows that they're not just bad on a production level, but they're really even worse on a human level. I mean, take, for example, all of these different Real Housewives shows. First off, who the fuck is a real housewife on these shows? They would know housewifery if it came along and bit them on the ass. They're all too busy drinking wine and shopping at high-end boutiques to know what house is really like. But these shows, what bothers me about them is that they take a group of people that are really, in so many ways, just morally reprehensible, and then gives them a show and gives them this feeling like what I'm doing is good, or what I'm doing, it's okay. Mm-hmm. I'm being rewarded for it by being put on television and being made famous amongst a certain group of audience people. And that's just, if I had children, I would weep at the kinds of people that were putting up in lights, because I would never, ever want my children to look at these selfish, self-centered, egomaniacal people and say, this is who you should be like. I couldn't. I would sooner kill my own offspring than have them want to be one of these people. They're terrible for us as a culture, and I wish we'd get rid of them.
Do you ever wonder what other countries think of when all these
No, because they got the same shit.
Do they?
Yeah, they really do.
A lot of them are picking up our dumbass shows and carrying them on over there. We are idolizing all the wrong people.
Right.
That's true. And you know what? I almost find
That's
it.
why I watch Cosmos.
I find it criminal is that, which we have an interview, if you'd like to read it, on thehollywoodoutsiders.com with Neil deGrasse Tyson. But,
Nice.
Yeah, you're welcome. But what I find almost criminal is the fact that these little kids, I don't care if their parents are signing waivers and allowing them, these little kids are having cameras follow them around at young ages and stuff. They have no concept of what's going on, what they're doing, or anything else. I don't think that's appropriate. I just don't. And I know people will say, well, there's child actors and da-da-da-da. I see it as something different, man. I know it's technically it's acting, but they follow them around.
The child actor works at work and then goes home where there's no cameras.
Yeah, they study a craft. They learn how to, deliver lines. They learn how facial expressions, all that stuff. Sorry, even though a little fat kid walking around in clothes that are too small for her, is technically acting because half of this shit is staged anyway. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess he is technically an actor, but I wouldn't exactly group him in with Haley Joel Osment,
No, I wouldn't. I think it's wrong. And the fact that they are being goaded into this by their parents who obviously only have their own interests at heart. And it's just, it's sick. I think it's sick. But anyway, let's move on to lighter fare.
Absolutely. All right, next up is Did You See That? And our boy Justin, he saw 47 Ronin. What do you think about that?
47 Ronin is a 2013 film starring Keanu Reeves that tells the story of a band of samurai who set out to avenge the death and dishonor of their master at the hands of a ruthless shogun. 47 Ronin, this is based on an actual event that occurred back in 17th century Japan, though of course it has been altered and changed to the nth degree. No, there were not women that turned into dragons, and there weren't demons in a forest. In reality, I know it sounds like it should be real, but it's not. But the film follows this character of Kai, who's played by Keanu Reeves. He's a half English, half Japanese boy that is found hurt on the roadside, and he's taken in by a shogun. And even though he's always treated like an outcast and an outsider, he is shown some love and mercy by the shogun and his daughter, and so he is raised with them. And several years later, he and these other Ronin, which means samurai without a master, seek revenge on the shogun who dishonored and killed their master. It's filled with a lot of magic. It's a lot of course, it's a martial arts kind of film, though it's all sword fighting. There's very little, if any, actual hand-to-hand combat. It is what I really loved about it most is all of the Japanese culture that is in it, all of the fairy tales and the mythology, all the elements of their code of ethics as they existed back then. It's really flashy. I thoroughly enjoyed the film from beginning to end. It does take a little too long for the event to transpire that turns them into Ronin. You would think from the trailers that's pretty early in the film, and it's like 45 minutes before that actually happens.
Oh, are you kidding me? So it's a whole lot of montage?
Well, no, the film's about 2 hours long, or maybe a little over 2 hours. So it's about 30 to 40 minutes when finally they become Ronin. But up till then, it's a pretty entertaining story. But once things go bad, then it really picks up, and it's a lot of fun. One actress, though, that I was surprised that was in it is Rinko Kikuchi, who plays the witch in this film, the one who turns into the dragon. She played Mako in Pacific Rim. When I saw her on the screen in this, I knew her from something. But when I read that she was Mako, I almost couldn't believe that was the same person, because her personality and everything is so different. Yes, she's an actress, so of course, but it's just, they're such divergent characters. I was really impressed with her range, but it's got a lot of actors you'll know from other martial arts films. I've gone on way too long already. It's really fun. If you like these sorts of high fantasy films, especially that have a lot of sword play, that's cool and fun to watch, I think you'll really enjoy it. 1 out of 10, I'd give it a solid 7.
Does anybody go, hoo-yah?
There's a lot of that.
Okay.
But it's cool.
Then I must see it.
All right, well, next up is what's on DVD and Blu-ray. Scotty, what's coming out?
Well, we've got 4 movies that, for the life of me, I could not find any reviews from any of us, even though we did see a couple of them. But
because it came out around Christmas.
Right, we had that break in the middle, so we didn't get a chance to review them. But March 25th, we've got, first off, The Wolf of Wall Street, which stars Leonardo DiCaprio and Jonah Hill, amongst others. This is based on the true story of Jordan Belfort, from his rise to a wealthy stockbroker living the high life to his fall involving crime, corruption, and the federal government. I saw it. Aaron, you saw it, right? Mm-hmm. It's a very, very graphic movie.
It's naughty. It's very naughty.
Very, yeah. Next up, Walking with the Dinosaurs. In this movie, you can see and feel what it was like when dinosaurs ruled the earth, and a story where an underdog dino triumphs to become a hero for the ages. I'm sorry. It's hard to,
I give it a 4.
Did you really?
No, I've never seen it.
It includes voice work of talking dinosaurs, of Carl Urban, John Leguizamo, Justin Long, and others. Vince Vaughn stars in Delivery Man. This is the movie about an affable underachiever who finds out he's fathered 533 children.
It's my autobiography. I wrote it myself.
Through anonymous donations to a fertility clinic 20 years ago. Now he has to decide whether or not to come forward when 142 of them file a lawsuit to reveal his identity. Next up, we've got Odd Thomas, which is based on the Dean Koontz novel. In a California desert town, a short-order cook with clairvoyant abilities encounters a mysterious man with a link to dark, threatening forces. It stars Anton Yelchin, better known as Chekhov from Star Trek.
I reviewed that one.
You did?
Yeah, it got a 750.
You know what? It was
get to the whistle.
And last, we also have a TV show that's on DVD as well. Continuum has its 2nd season available.
It's a great show. Yeah, great show.
Good deal. Well, next up is From the Outside In. That's where our topic this week is whether it's movies or TV, Hollywood has gone very dark in the last decade or so, making a lot of our heroes more and more shady. So we're going to talk about that. Now, Justin, how far does a character have to go for you to pretty much no longer root for them?
You know, I'd like to say that it's some kind of high-minded notion of, you know, they have to act against their character type. And really, this is more of a writer thing than an actor deal. But, you know, really when a character goes beyond, I don't mind a character breaking a law as long as there's a good reason for it. Because, you know, we are just talking about a movie or a television show, not real life. But if they go against the law for their own selfish gain, if they hurt someone for no other reason than to hurt them, at that point, I can no longer watch that character with the same sense of enthusiasm that I probably did before they did this bad shit.
Scotty?
For me, anytime a character starts hurting or doing harm to children, I
no longer...
Like
a babysitter trying to smother it?
Yeah, it happens.
I mean, you throw kids in the mix. I mean, that's probably a lot of me being a teacher.
That's when I perk up.
Or just a human. I don't know.
Because basically you're saying you didn't care until, like, August.
Right.
I'm all right with you smothering little children. But once I became a teacher, I got to draw the line.
That's not at all what I'm saying.
Yeah. I'm putting the line in the sand. As of August, no more.
A teacher's got to have standards, you know.
No, there's something, I don't know. It really makes me more uncomfortable watching a character on the screen do horrible, horrible things to kids. It just really rubs me the wrong way. That and characters that just wind up making decisions that just don't make any sense. That you can tell the writer just more or less did it just to make the story interesting. There's no way this character would make that decision. That just, okay, you lost me. I'm done. So. And
that happens all the time.
Yes.
All the time.
Hurting animals, I would add that. Fuck kids. You kick a puppy, we got words.
Oh my
you know what I can't stand?
Amen.
And I think it's an unfortunate TV trope. It happens a lot in television. Rape. They use rape to get things going and to get stories told and to get you immediately on the side of a character.
I like rape.
Hey, you actually made a joke on it. Nice job. Enjoy the emails. I personally can't stand if a character does that. And I can't remember what the show was, but stop laughing.
Rape, arson, murder, and rape. I like rape.
You said rape twice.
Oh,
I just watched that for the first time, so come on.
tell them what
I like
movie.
it.
Tell them what movie you're talking about, so nobody thinks it's us.
It's from Blazing Saddles.
Okay. But that is the one thing. If a character does that, there's no coming back. You can't come back. Harming a child or a weaker person. People that pick on elderly, retarded. I said retarded, developmentally delayed. People that have any kind of developmental issues or just are generally slow. I have a hard time thinking someone is worth sympathizing with once they do that, because I realize what their character is, I guess. Bullies, people that bully, especially TV and movies, there are several characters where it's caricature, but there are a lot of shows where the main character is also a bully. I mean, Breaking Bad's a prime example. Walter White is just a huge freaking bully. And it's really hard to ever get on his... I mean, once he loses you, it's really hard to ever come back on his side, because he continues to be a bully. And it's characters like that I have a hard time coming back from. What about jokes or language, before we move on? What about jokes or language that a character... Is there anything that somebody can say or a joke they can tell where you're like, oh, that's too far?
No.
Not really.
If they thank Jesus.
Did you say if they thank Jesus?
Yeah, if they look up and go, "When do you got?" Nah, fuck you.
That's why you don't watch football, huh?
I hate it. Where was your Jesus when you fumbled? Where was he then? Don't pick and choose.
Oh, man. Well, all right, Aaron, just kind of the flip side of that coin, when can a character not go far enough? Therefore, he kind of, like, just because he didn't, like, you didn't get there, and he kind of loses you forever.
When there's a threat, or any kind of immediate threat, or any kind of a threat to a child or weaker person, and nobody does anything, like they don't do anything about it, I just lose respect for characters like that. It happens all the time. Walking Dead is a prime example, and I'm not going to talk about the recent episode. We're not going to spoil that, so please don't even think I am. I'm talking about Rick, who's the main character of the show, right? A lot of people like Rick. They think he's great. I fucking hate Rick. I hate him. As a dad, he's a dipshit. He's an awful father, and I can never get behind him, even though I like the actor. I like Andrew Lincoln. He's a good actor. But he 100% of the time does exactly what's wrong for his kids. Even though he does all the time.
Look, I'm not saying he doesn't do the wrong, or he doesn't do the right thing, whatever the case is. I'm not saying I don't agree with you, but the dude has had he's had not just the pressure of his wife and kid and soon to be born kid and / presently born kid.
Yeah, same kid, right?
Same kid. But he's had the pressure of keeping that whole group together, moving them from place to place, convincing Herschel to let them move in with him, then taking all of their group, and once they got kind of scattered, and getting them back together, and then moving into the prison, and you got the governor stuff. The dude's had a lot of shit to deal with. And I'm telling you... More than Daryl.
I am telling you
more than any of the other women.
From I'm just saying, shut up.
Cut the guy some slack.
No, I will not. From a dad's perspective, your kids in that situation where you have an apocalypse, first thing you should think about is what's best for them.
Yeah, but if your kid is Carl...
Fucking breeders.
No argument.
Ditch the kid. They're just going to drag you down, man.
Hey, I'm not lying. I'm thinking Judith could probably stand a good leaving by the side of the road. But since he is the dad and he's got to take care of him, he should do a better job of it. He's constantly leaving. I mean, he left Carl every freaking chance he got. Like every chance he gets, he's like, "Hey, Carl, I got to go into town and do something that's going to risk my life, even though we're not sure about what's going on with your mom. So take care." Yeah, if I had a kid that would never stay in the goddamn house, I would too.
I'd have thrown the kid to the walkers. Slow him down.
You know what else, before you go to anybody else? I hate people on TV or movies that constantly bitch about stuff and changes that need to be made, but they never make them. Like Carrie Bradshaw, Sex and the City. She's a prime example. Constantly, every week, bitch, doing them. My wife made me watch that goddamn show.
My face looks like a horse. I'm not doing anything about it.
Exactly. And
why are women such sluts?
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to keep sleeping around. Yay. Yeah. And nothing ever changes. Why don't people treat me right? Oh, because I keep going out with people that don't treat me right. It's just stuff like that. I hate that.
I am not saying that all women are sluts. I'm saying that's what Carrie Bradshaw said on the show. Before I get letters.
That's not what he says off the air, ladies. Yeah. Start writing. Scott at thehollywoodoutsider.com. He likes rape.
The ones that I had a hard time with this because usually I don't really want to see a character go darker and do more despicable things. But I think what does bother me when a character doesn't go far enough is when a character forgives too easily in a show. Give an example, or a movie. Give an example. I'm in the process of getting caught up on Sons of Anarchy right now. Mm-hmm. There is a lot of stuff that happens in that show, and it takes about 2 or 3 episodes for a lot of those guys to go, well, okay.
They just bro it off.
Yeah, they just more or less just like shrug it off like no big deal. If some of that stuff happened in real life, I know people that would never harm a fly that would be going to town on somebody for doing the things they did in that show.
In Scott's world, what does going to town mean exactly?
Yeah, because I was thinking something totally, probably different than what you were intending.
They would be jacking somebody up.
And again, I'm a little confused.
Gemma should have been killed several times over by Jack alone.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Yeah, there's no reason Gemma should be alive.
There's no reason Clay...
If hypothetically she is in season 6, if you're not caught up.
I'm at the end of season 5.
Okay.
There's no reason that Clay should still be alive for so many reasons.
He's a horrible person.
It's just awful.
I'll tell you, I couldn't
really
take a jack with this.
I mean, characters going too far, sure. Not going far enough. That's a harder one because usually in these shows, the writers don't fear going too far. It's always especially nowadays. Let's take them further. Let's go darker. I really don't have anything for not going far enough. I mean, really, this is like the antithesis of the Jack Bauer. There is nothing that man would not do for his love of country and duty. I mean, he would put electrodes to your testicles if that's what it was required to get everything solved. So, yeah, I don't know if I've ever really seen too many instances of somebody not going far enough.
Hey, what about the Transformers? You think by now they could figure out a way to get off our fucking planet? That ain't going far enough, is it?
Well, they don't have a rocket ship.
That's what it is.
It's been 30 years. They can figure it out by now.
Apparently not, Brian.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what they make up.
Maybe they need Mark Wahlberg to help them.
I'm sure. All right, well...
This is how I'm going to pay for your college. No, you're not. She's going to pay for that through stripping.
Tell your mama say hi. All right, so, there's always...
I love a happening reference.
All right, what's been a moment or two where you're watching a movie or TV show and the character you were once a big fan of, you just lost interest in because of where that character went? Scott?
Well, we kind of already mentioned it, and I will preface this by saying that I am not caught up on the current season of the show, but Carl from Walking Dead, first season, I felt bad for him. He's a kid, his mom's sleeping around, he's in the zombie apocalypse kind of thing, kind of wanted to cheer him on, the young kid rising up, growing up in this. And then by the end of the second season, I just was praying for a zombie to eat his face. He is the epitome of making dumb decisions and doing things that don't make any sense to me.
It's genetic, apparently.
I would argue with Brian and say that Rick has gone through a little bit more than Carl has, and
really wait a minute.
I mean, at 10 years old, you're not exactly making great life choices.
You're saying that the grown-ass man has gone through more than the poor little kid who doesn't know what's going on. He's suffering with his mom fucking a new guy. His dad's missing. The zombie apocalypse. I think
mom needs love too.
Yeah, but
he needs to know that.
Hey, Rick woke up and all this zombie crap's going on. He didn't know what the heck was going on. Wandered around Atlanta. Didn't know anything about his family. Finally finds him. Finds out his wife's banging his best friend. Best friend tries to kill him. His son is a little shit. Everybody else is freaking out. He's trying to keep them all together and keep the thing going. That's a lot to deal with. So, yeah, he went through more than little shitbird Carl.
Shitbird Carl. Why don't you just get the Rick fan club going?
I just might.
Well, you're right there in Georgia. That's probably why.
I should state right off the bat, though, that just because I don't like a character doesn't mean that they're still not compelling.
Mm-hmm, that's fair.
There are a lot of characters. We already mentioned Breaking Bad. Walter White, No, he is not a good person. Jesse really, in a lot of ways, is not a good person.
Thank you for saying that. A lot of people miss that he did a lot of horrible things, too.
Oh, yeah.
There are a lot of bad people, but they're still compelling. Same thing with Sons of Anarchy, a lot of their characters. And for me, the one that came to mind is Mad Men. You know, I really wanted to like Don Draper. He is handsome, charismatic, smart, yet he's also a horrible philanderer and a liar. So no, as a person, I don't like Don Draper in the least little bit, but he is fucking compelling as shit. And that's why I keep watching the show season after season. But when he first cheated on his wife, that's one sin. You know, smack your kids around all you want, whatever. Cheat on your wife for no fucking reason other than you just want to get some strange, then I've got no love for you at all, and you are forever tarnished.
Wow. Look at you, moral police.
Wow.
Yeah, right.
Well, I got a couple. Episode 3 of Star Wars, Revenge of the Sith. As much as I didn't necessarily love those movies, I was always interested in like the payoff, for Darth Vader and how that was how Anakin becomes Darth Vader. It was still always intriguing to me. I was still behind the character because of, wow, that's a tragic story. And if it was told right, it could be such a horrifically tragic story. After he killed those little Jedi kids for like no reason whatsoever, just randomly, I'm so mad, I'm going to kill some Jedi kids. I was done.
He killed children.
No, he killed children for no reason. Like he just flipped, like it was almost a matter of like 10 seconds. He just snapped and decided, I'm going to go kill a bunch of Jedi kids.
Mm-hmm.
I'm mad. I'm going to go beat up a bunch of kids.
Yeah, no, beat them. No, I'm going to kill them. It was
no, he killed them at the behest of Emperor Palpatine.
It was way too rushed. It was kind of like a mix of a horrible action mixed with really weak writing, and it just didn't work for me. So it was really, I've never come back from that. The love I had for that character is gone.
Mm-hmm.
I still like the movies. I still like Darth Vader to a degree, but I don't love him as a character as I did before that movie. Because I just thought that was one of the worst written scenes and performed scenes in history. Jaime Lannister, in the very first episode of Game of Thrones, they can redeem his ass all they want. He pushed a little kid out a frickin' balcony window.
Right after he was doing his sister.
Right after he was doing his sister. There's no redemption there, as far as I'm concerned. You don't come back from that. No.
His sister's kind of hot.
I'd
push a kid out a window for that.
You don't want to get some
But
strange.
you'll hang somebody for cheating on their wife.
Well, yes. Hey, I didn't say my morals had to make sense.
What if your wife's your sister?
Oh, wait, what? Oh,
Then I'd be living next door to you.
All right, the last one is Spike on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I absolutely loved that character. Loved Spike. I thought he was just so cool. And then he tried to rape Buffy, and after that, nothing he did. And even though he went on this nice journey to find his soul and everything else, I just could never buy back into him.
Mine's pretty quick and easy. It's basically the cast of Heroes. The whole dang show. I loved when all of them came together. That was, you had the cheerleader, and you had Hero and the cop and all this stuff, and you had them dealing. It was like, wow, this is what it would almost be like in the real world if all of a sudden you had some powers and didn't know whether to show them off or whether to hide them, record them. Just, wow, how far can I push this talent? And then it just got dumb. Mm-hmm. And it just, there were so many different threads. It was just throwing too much at me, I guess. I just lost interest in all of them. All right, a few of our listeners had a little bit of input on this topic. Sean McGuire says John McClane in the last Die Hard film. That's a good one. Carlos Hernandez says Arnold as the Terminator and sorry to say Harrison Ford as Indy. How can they both do what they've done in the past now at their age? I could believe it then, but not now. And Justin Vaughn says Riddick. Enough said.
I don't know. I think a little more needs to be said. What exactly he did.
Yeah, he's kind of a bad guy to begin with.
Yeah, he didn't start off cute and cuddly.
Well, the character has evolved, probably, maybe in a way a lot of people won't agree that it's the best way.
And we did have a long one from Robert Davenport, but it's gone now. So if you deleted it, I can't read it, and neither can Brian. So sorry.
Yeah, none of us got a time machine.
Nope. All right. Well, nobody puts baby in a corner, but we will put Scott in the whole corner. So, Scott, what are we talking about this week?
Well, this is kind of a big week in tech. Actually, there's a conference going on right now called the GDC, which stands for Game Development Conference. Settle down. There is a movie time with this.
It better be, dude.
But
just imagine the look Aaron has on his face.
Yeah, I was waiting for it. But it was announced yesterday. Was a big announcement. The Sony actually released some new tech yesterday. It's a virtual reality headset that's actually going to be released for their consoles. It's called Project Morpheus. It covers the entire face, kind of like the Oculus Rift that we talked about a little bit. It does head tracking, that kind of thing, but it basically covers your entire face with a 1080p screen. And you wear this when you're playing games, and it's apparently going to be the next big thing in gaming. What this made me do was think about this from a movie aspect. Is this something that I would like to see translated to film and or TV shows? I know we all sit in our theaters or in our home theaters watching these kind of things in high definition, but we never have that experience that we kind of get in an IMAX screen where you almost don't see the edges of the screen. You're kind of enveloped in this world. Would you want to see a movie where you actually feel like you're there, have the ability to look around in an environment and kind of experience a movie almost as if you were there instead of just watching it in the traditional way that we have been? Now, Justin, you're my resident gamer on the show, and I know you like experiences a lot like I do. Is this something you'd be interested in experiencing your entertainment?
Yeah. Porn. I think that would be, the first application.
Wow.
They should put that to. No,
Jesus.
These kinds of headset virtual reality kind of deals, they've been working on them for a long time. But I'm sure that they're at the point now where you put one of those things on and you feel like you're sitting in front of the best IMAX screens imaginable. And yeah, I mean, I can't imagine how exhilarating it would be to sit back and watch, Aliens or Star Wars or The Matrix with something, that not only is it that huge in front of your eyes, but it's also isolating you within that world, so you're not getting all the distractions in your peripheral vision, people talking around you. It's just you and your headset immersed in it. But I couldn't see it as something that I would use frequently. Mm-hmm. I would probably hold on to that for something really, really worth that kind of experience. I would hate to see us as a culture turn into those people that you see in those science fiction movies where everybody sits around drooling with these headsets on. I don't want to become that group, but yeah, for the right movie or the right game, I think that would be completely amazing.
Star Wars, whenever they go into hyperdrive and all those white stars come.
Oh yeah,
and my face just melts off.
I definitely would want to see it, but it would be very rare. I would not want to do it all the time. I've actually seen the Oculus Rift. I've actually put it on before. It's cool, but it seems like a novelty. So I really don't have an interest in watching more than maybe one movie a month, if that way, because it's all encompassing, and I like to have my senses tingled, but I don't want them violated. So no. I think it's just
it kind of seems to me like almost too much of a good thing. Mm-hmm. I agree with you. Once in a while, that sounds very interesting, and depending on the media, whether it's a movie or a game or something, I can see that, because I mean, there's been times where as even whether you're a first-person shooter or a third-person shooter, your field of vision is like you've got horse blinders on,
right? Mm-hmm.
And to have good peripheral vision to say like 180-degree sweep would be pretty cool. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if I could sit there for 3 hours at a time playing a game like that.
Well, I'm even thinking more from a movie standpoint, believe it or not, instead of a gaming standpoint. This is obviously being introduced for games, but is this something that we're going to sit in our living room? Like, I know you said you would do it maybe once in a while. For me, going to see movies or watching movies at home is honestly more of a social thing than you guys probably would think, because I know you guys want to sit there. You don't want to have any distractions. I like watching movies with people.
That's not true. Just certain movies, it doesn't matter.
Right. But if we all sit there with headsets on, you lose that social part of it. unless you have some kind of, I don't know, communication going on, like which at that point just watch it on the screen. You know what I mean? But I'm with you. I think I would be more apt to watch movies like that more often than you guys would, just because I think the tech sounds really cool. But I don't want it to get to the point where that's all there is.
I think it's 3D. It's the same as 3D. It's going to be cool a few times, then it's going to get very boring.
In closing, we got some emails and messages and all kinds of stuff like that. Don't forget to listen to the outtakes at the end of the show. But before we get to emails, we're going to do some Facebook stuff here. So all new Facebook likes. We said last week we'd mention those on the show, and that's facebook.com/The Hollywood Outsider. We had a few, so here we go. And also, of course, remember to like us on Facebook and all that stuff. So we've got a few here from last week. Alfredo Reyes, Tom Tempo, and Jeffrey Welchman. Welcome to our club.
Welcome. You're a hoe now.
Yep. All right, Justin, you got an email to read?
Sure, we have one here from David McGrath. He says, "Hey, hoes, after listening to not one but two consecutive episodes containing nothing but mockery and outright disdain for one of my favorite guilty pleasures, I felt I had to write in and offer some support for 1996's classic," okay, that might be pushing it a bit, "jungle adventure, The Phantom. Stop your moaning. I can hear it already. Yes, it has Billy Zane in purple spandex. Yes, it has a horse that can outrun planes. Yes, it has Treat Williams chewing the scenery like Pac-Man on bath salts, but I love it anyway. I love it, I love it, I love it. I feel it is an exciting action adventure with great production design, some great action set pieces, the truck on the rope bridge for one, and most importantly, a great sense of fun. That's the key word here, fun. Now, you all supported each other in knocking The Phantom, so let me bring a little backup to support my opinion. One of the greatest film critics ever, and one I greatly respect, the late, great Roger Ebert, gave The Phantom 3.5 stars out of 4. If you have the time, give his review a gander, which you can find at rogerebert.com/reviews/the-phantom-1996. He does a much better job than I ever could at saying what makes The Phantom a great time at the movies. Now, that said, how about the hoes offering up their guilty pleasures? What's that one movie that makes you cringe at the thought of people finding out that you actually liked it? That one movie that makes you want to scream, "Fuck you, I like it." Come on, say it loud and be proud. On a final note, Billy Zane will rise again. Mark my words.
He will not. He will not.
Just as soon as he can afford a kick-ass, top-of-the-line toupee like John Travolta or William Shatner. Keep it classy, hoes. David McGrath.
I first want to say that I do respect Roger Ebert. I do think he's one of the all-time greatest critics. But it doesn't change my opinion, what he thinks. And he is wrong on that one. The Phantom is not a good movie. The costume was not well done. But hey, everybody's got that thing that they like. Mine would be, and I've talked about it before, is The Adventures of Ford Fairlane. It's a really non-holding up well movie.
No, it's not.
And but it's something that will make me laugh out loud every time I watch it, every single time. I'm not ashamed of Army of Darkness. I'm very proud of that one because, most geeks like that movie. But you mentioned Ford Fairlane. Oh, the Andrew Dice Clay movie? Yeah. Yep. So I love that. That's mine.
I don't know if I have any guilty pleasures. I mean, because the whole concept revolves around you feeling guilty about something.
Well, let's pretend, hippie.
If I was going to say, all right, it's a guilty pleasure, maybe something like Pitch Perfect, where it's just a bunch of people singing Glee songs. That's probably not the movie that a lot of guys would be loud and proud of saying, Scott aside.
That's true. Yeah.
Saying that they're a
ashamed.
huge fan of. But I love that film with all of my heart. I cannot wait to see the second one.
For me, it is The Devil Wears Prada and Mean Girls.
Wow.
I love both of those movies.
I think Mean Girls is a great movie. And Devil Wears Prada, I love Meryl Streep's character. I don't necessarily love the movie, but I love her character.
It's one of those that whenever it was on, it was on TV for a couple years. There would be on like FX or something every once in a while. I just watch it. I don't know why. I just really like that movie.
You like fashion quite a bit?
No, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't make any sense. I'm not into fashion at all. I just like...
I mean, you seem like you like bitchy girl movies. So that makes sense.
Oh, for me, it's Flash Gordon. It is a horrible. It is a horrible movie.
Go, Flash, go!
Oh God, no!
It's so fucking good.
It is, and the soundtrack by Queen makes it just spectacular. It's campy. It's horrible. If you watch it now and you've never seen it before, you will probably scratch your eyeballs out. But it stuck with me as a kid, and I've loved it and adored it ever since. So, Flash Gordon. And I want me one of them T-shirts. Alrighty. Well, next up is from Sean McGuire. He says, "Hey, hoes. First off, thanks for another great show as always. And I want to comment on Brian's comment on True Detective. I completely agree with his comments on the show. It really is a great character drama. Yes, a slow burn. Pulled me in from the start, and the acting is amazing from the whole cast. There is actually a full 5 minutes of a later episode involving a heist from a drug dealer in the hood, which had me almost suffocate as I was held breathless for all too long. And I totally agree. That was just a very intense action scene there. So, but he continues, if you have not seen it, please make a point to check it out. Just another show in a long line of great shows from HBO. Couldn't agree more with you, Sean.
That's a good example of a show, though, that's got characters that I don't like them, but they're compelling as hell.
Yep. We've got a couple of tweets from D.A. Cheney. She says, the outtakes this week are really funny. Hashtag, are you kidding me? Hashtag, lost joke. The missing plane is mysterious and sad, but the joke is funny. She also said, yes, it happened again. I LOL'd at the fruit bowl comment. And a coworker asked me what I was cracking up for. Hashtag, couldn't explain. That was really funny.
All right, and I've got a couple tweets. Junebug Johnson. Find out whether it's okay to joke about 240 missing people at Hollywood Outsider. My gut reaction was no, but the resounding yes from Aaron and Brian was a compelling argument.
Yes is not compelling.
It's always appropriate.
These people are running for their lives on some island. That's not funny.
There's a smoke monster chasing them. Is that what you're telling me?
They still haven't found that plane either, have they?
They have not. It's lost.
That's really weird.
Katie, and it never stops. Hey, guess what? It's on the news. If you don't know anything about it, just turn on any news network. You can hear all about it. Katie McEwen, she was talking about, we had mentioned that Sebastian Stan on our Facebook page got a 9-picture deal for Captain America, and she had a comment about, must feel good to have gigs for a while, good for him, talking about that movie deal. And I just want to tell her that I love your pick because she has a pick, or profile pick, is with her and Beetlejuice, and it's great. That's all I wanted.
All right, we have a Facebook post from Vicky Hernandez Calgaro. She says, I got home from driving... What?
Calgaro.
Fuck.
Calgaro, take me away.
Names? She says, I got home from driving around my daughters from music class and got home to my husband watching an episode. That could have gone so wrong. Luckily, she finishes it off well. But watching an episode of Star Trek Enterprise. At least I didn't get here when the theme song was on. LOL. That's okay, because as Vicky knows, we sang the song to her in subsequent posts.
That's just
it's been a
saddest thing I've ever heard.
Getting from there to here.
Brian, you're in control. Wrap this shit up.
Oh my
It's been
Lord.
a long time.
I can't hear you from the bleeding going on in my ears right now.
Somebody strangling.
Time is finally here.
There's a worm in my brain.
Someone strangling a cat over in Texas right now.
Hey, knock it off.
Yeah, my sentiments to you exactly. All right, well, here's how you guys can find us. Make sure you stay through the credits for the outtakes. They're always hilarious, usually better than the podcast itself. Go to www.thehollywoodoutsiders.com or go on to Twitter, _outsider, facebook.com/The Hollywood Outsiders. Facebook.com/The Hollywood Outsider. Don't add an S. Leave us a message or text us at 818-814-6246. And of course, email us at feedback@thehollywoodoutsiders.com. Listen and subscribe for free on iTunes. Listen on your Stitcher Radio app. Give us a thumbs up or through our RSS feed. That will do it for this episode of The Hollywood Outsider. I had a fantastic freaking time doing this. And thanks, Aaron. Thanks, Scott and Justin. Appreciate you guys playing along.
So what's the verdict? How'd Brian do? Good job?
I think he did fantastic.
Oh, look at that.
I think he was set up for failure a few times with the format, but otherwise I think he barreled on as well as he could, given all of your failures, Aaron.
I got to agree with Justin on that one. And on that note, remember, the next time you go to a theater, buy popcorn.
What? Not buy Jew Bears? Come on, you had the throttle.
But next time you go to a theater,
Buy Jew Bears.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Skill
I'm gonna,
and then just arcade.
Leak the lizard real quick. I'll be right back.
go ahead.
Molly calls it a lizard? That's not nice.
She calls it a Komodo dragon. Bam!
I'm not going to tell you my story now.
Good. You want to hear it anyway.
Yes, Justin, it worked again.
Fucking asshole. Really? You're going to start
There
eating
you
chips right before you fucking start hosting, you dipshit?
Now, Brian, try not to fuck up too much because he has to edit all of your screw ups. So if you do it a lot, you're going to have a lot of work ahead of him. I'm not saying, I'm just saying.
All right, let's fuck this dog.
Pass.
Oh, no, let's see the dog.